Chapter 7. Welcome back, Nima. Over Panama City, Panama, October 12th, 1936, noon. The new flight departed at 7 a.m. and was temporarily stopped at Panama City before returning with a non-stop flight to Mexico. Damn it. Next non-stop flight to Mexico City. The flight was to be roughly 9 to 10 hours, and on board the plane was Indiana with Nima Moctezuma. Nima spoke. Have you ever heard of Otto Biamont? Indy paused in shock before replying. Why, of course. He's my ruthless rival archaeologist. Indy spoke. Back in June, while in the Shanxi province of China, I was excavating the tomb of Empress Regent Luji of the Han Dynasty. Now, she was a competent and powerful political figure, and she was known for appointing able officials, but also for her ruthless political maneuvers and her consolidation of power. And he continued, but back on topic. Biamont almost managed to steal the remains of Empress Lu, taking credit for himself, so he could probably make a decent payment of quick money from the Chinese Nationalist Party. Nima asked. Well, you know how Biamont is? The Dutch archaeologist is also a pioneer in pre-Columbian history, almost like you. And he answered, why yes, pre-Columbian history just so happens to be the field of study for the both of us. Nima then revealed, well then, I also managed to get some of the reports from the Army Intelligence Corps, much like you while you were in the States. However, there was a piece of information that stood out to me, something that those two military agents might not have told you. Nima began somewhat hesitantly. Well, Biamon has sided with the Imperial Japanese Army in their archaeological expedition to uncover the Golden Crown. He became horrified and in disbelief. He answered back, that's pure insanity. He's literally helping the government in Tokyo gain in a literal weapon of mass destruction that could obliterate the US and British Royal Navies. The Japanese want to use the Golden Crown to storm through their invasion of Manchuria, as well as launching a full-scale invasion against China, forcing them to surrender. And he continued. The Imperial Japanese want to dominate across Asia and the Pacific, and with China knocked out of this war, country after country will fall, as the British colonial empire and the US both remain powerless. Nima stated, exactly. Now, I believe the Japanese were trying to get the medallion, because they must have learned somewhere that this medallion likely has some connection to the Golden Crown, which I believe might actually be true in this case. Indiana asked, what makes you think that, Nima? Nima answered, well, my family had passed down the medallion for generations, which explains why it's in such intact and good shape even now. As a pre-Columbian archaeologist, after some basic carbon intestine diagnostics I did a few years back, I can confirm that the medallion is likely from 400 CE to 900 CE, roughly during the height of the Mayan civilization. Indiana remarked, that period actually overlaps with the Dark Ages, or the early medieval periods, from the fall of Rome in 476 CE up till the First Crusade in 1095 CE. From the 250s to the 10th century, the Mayan city-states experienced a remarkable era of significant advancements in urbanism, monumental construction, a peak of population, and hieroglyphic writing. While in Western Europe, the Western Roman Empire began to decline and collapse, leading to a period of upheaval and anarchy, illiteracy, and a decline in urban life and superstition. Nima answered, it's quite ironic how Western Europe entered into a period of disease, darkness, anarchy, and constant warfare, whereas the New World, and particularly in the case of Mesoamerica, was a time of cultural and intellectual achievements, very similar to classical Greece or the Italian Renaissance. He stated, it wasn't just the Mayans in the Mesoamerica. Back in the late 13th century, the Mexica people, a Uto-Aztecan people from the southwestern U.S. or northern Mexico, migrated south, founding their capital city called Tenochtitlan on an island in Lake Texcoco in 1325. The Mexica later would become known as the Aztecas and would have ruled much of central and southern Mexico. Tenochtitlan, in fact, was such an incredibly populous and urbanly developed city, proper sanitary systems. It had easy access to education and well-paid jobs, as well as a strong urban development. Oh, okay. Sorry about the ads, guys. Something from my Discord not my I don't have a Discord server, but it's from my brother's private Discord server from his friends. Sorry about that. Just ignore that, please. And he continued, Tenochtitlan was an absolutely magnificent, luxurious, and highly advanced metropolis, and it would have been over 13 square miles, or bigger than the city of Miami. The Aztec Empire, or officially, the Empire of the Triple Alliance, flourished as a powerful Mesoamerican nation from 1325 up until 1521. The Aztec Empire was sustained by an advanced system of agriculture, trade, tribute, and militaristic expansion and alliances, for eventually to fall into the Spanish military under Conquistador Hernan Cortez, the Spanish conquest of Mexico in 1519 to 1521. All former Aztec lands became incorporated to the newly formed Viceroyalty of New Spain and ended in a decisive Spanish indigenous allied victory. Indiana commented, Now the Aztecs fought ferociously with all their manpower and militaristic strength. And although the Aztecs collapsed under the Spanish control, the legacy of the Aztecs still lives on, and most Aztec ruins are still visible to this day. In fact, modern Mexico's capital, Mexico City, was actually built on the former site of Tenochtitlan. India assured, Nima, both of us are going to stop the Imperial Japanese before they can ever receive the Golden Crown, and will return it back to its rightful owners, to either local Mayan descendants or the Mexican federal government. I promise. Chapter 18, Cancun. No, wait, damn it, sorry. Typo. Chapter 8, Cancun. Cancun, Mexico, October 14th, 1936. Late morning. For the next 2 days, Indy and Nemo were temporarily staying in a hotel in Cancun. Yet after tomorrow, they were planning to head south to the Mexican countryside to confront Biamont and the Japanese brigade involved. The hotel the two archaeologists were staying at was rather large. The hotel had Art Deco style architecture, luxurious materials made of chrome, lacquered wood, and marble. The hotel's exterior had clad limestone or brick walls, had prominent outdoor lighting, as well as ornate brickwork, terraces, and ornamental Greco-Roman style columns. The hotel lobby had high ceilings, decorative pillars, and intricate lighting fixtures, as well as original moldings, archways, and bold, elegant geometric patterns, as well as lacquered surfaces. Oh, there was smooth, clean marble flooring, central fountain, and beautiful, luxurious rugs, as well as deep cushioned sofas, brown leather seats next to large lounging tables, as well as other ornate furnishing and cabinetary motifs. The hotel lobby overall resembled a smoking room or a luxurious lounging room. There were also flags of the United States, Mexico, and the British Dominion of Canada. Nima paused before asking, Come to think of it, do you think the Spaniards might have already stolen the Golden Crown? And he paused, looking around his surroundings. He wasn't sure how to respond, honestly, but then he gave a somewhat confident and assuring response. I find it incredibly unlikely that the Spanish had stolen the Golden Crown, as the major Mayan ruins had already been abandoned for centuries and were overgrown by tropical and subtropical jungles. Not only that, but the Aztec Empire was located in the Valley of Mexico, which was far northwest of the primary sites of the classical Mayan ruins in the southern Yucatan Peninsula and parts of Guatemala, Honduras, and Belize. Yuma asked. So was the geographical separation the primary reason as to how the Spaniards never found it? Indiana replied, Why yes, you could say that. Now, although the Spanish did encounter contemporary post-classical Mayan peoples in the northern part of the Yucatan Peninsula, where Cortez landed, the groups had shifted their range far further north by the time by that time. The Spanish conquest of these remaining Mayan peoples was a prolonged effort that took nearly 2 centuries to complete, with the last fully independent tribe, the oh god, I'm going to butcher this, Nojepeten, Nojepeten. I'm definitely not saying that correct. Collapsing in 1697. 6-1. 21. Okay, sorry, that was stupid. And he concluded Cortez and the Spanish conquistador army were primarily focused on conquering the wealthy, powerful, urbanly developed, and centralized Aztec Empire. They had limited knowledge of the vast expanse of Mesoamerica and, at the time, had no reason to believe that major ruins from an earlier, just as distinct civilization lay deep within the remote jungles far to the south. And he didn't tell Nima. Nima Moctezuma. I find it incredibly unlikely to think that Cortez and his men ever looted the Golden Crown, ever stole it. Yeah, that sounds better. Ever stole. Sorry, guys, typo. Yeah, we still have to deal with Biamon and the Imperial Japanese troops involved, anyways. Nima told Indiana. Let's not think about that right now, Jones. Let's just sit back and relax in Cancun. We'll be heading south tomorrow afternoon. Chapter 9 Biamont. Later that day, still October 14th, 1936, noon. Hold on, guys. The streets of Cancun were rather lively and thriving. The buildings had Baroque era motifs as well as heavy Mediterranean and even Moorish influences to their exterior architecture. Some of the buildings had striking, unique Art Deco exterior and interior architectural elements. There were various civil buildings, raised sidewalks, smooth cobblestone streets, as well as office buildings, shops, local restaurants, barber shops, saloons, and bars, and visitantes, or condominium complexes. There was also impressively built churches, as well as commercial buildings, as well as government and educational structures. Wait, hold on, guys. Give me a moment. Well, hold on, wait. Alright, sorry. With a mix of Art Deco, Baroque, Mediterranean, and Moorish architectural elements to their exteriors and interiors. There were also benches, public trash cans, street lamps, and occasional planted palm trees. There were there were 1920s and 1930s automobile cars, as well as occasional horse-drawn carriages, buggies, and carts. In the local marketplace in Cancun, flags of the British Dominion of Canada, as well as the Mexican and American flags. There was also flags of Cuba, Argentina, Brazil, Colombia, Venezuela, Peru, Panama, the Dominican Republic, Haiti, Jamaica, Paraguay, Uruguay, Ecuador, Guatemala, El Salvador, Honduras, oh shit, I already said it twice. And Nicaragua. I hope I didn't miss anything. Indy was in the Mexican marketplace in downtown Cancun, wandering around until he heard a familiar voice, in a Dutch accent but still intelligible. Dr. Jones! Welcome to Cancun! And seated in the outdoor area of a Mexican restaurant slash bar and grill was none other than Indy's rival archaeologist, Alo Biamont. He was a 40-year-old man, and Biamont was wearing a sleek white business jacket, white business trousers, a leather belt, and a long-sleeved navy blue long-sleeved suit shirt and a bowler hat. Biamont was eating at an authentic Mexican restaurant and seated in the outdoor area of the business. He was eating cooked Mexican rice, with a side of beans and cooked vegetables, as well as 4 authentic meat tacos, as well as a platter of nacho chips and a slice of a chocolate cake. How delicious. Biamon told the archaeologist. Relax, Jones. I'm off duty right now. I'm not going to do anything crazy to you. So please, take a seat. Indiana sighed before reluctantly sitting on the table with the Dutchman. Biamon remarked, You're the one who went to Changling Mausoleum in China to steal the remains of Empress Lu Ji. Jones replied, and you're the man who stole the urn from the archaeologist who did the actual excavation and exploration. Biamon told Indy assertively. Says the one who stole an ancient heritage artifact, without even notifying the government in Nanjing. I at least managed to get the proper funding, permits, authorization, and proper diagnostic research and testing equipment from the Chinese Nationalist Party. Biamon told Indy, and I managed to get a payment of 800,000 francs or 990,716 US dollars from the Kuomintang government. The government in Nanjing also wanted to protect ancient Chinese cultural artifacts from the Communist Red Army, so they willingly hired me, whereas you didn't even give Nanjing a damn phone call. The Nationalists could have given you the same authorization and equipment as me if you gave them a single phone call at least. Biamont remarked, This isn't even the first time. In 1934, you upset the Tegucigalpa government when you tampered with a pre-contact heritage site. The Honduran government claimed you illegally traveled to the country and you were more of a tomb raider rather than an archaeologist while present there. Indy tried to tell the man, Look, there's a huge misunderstanding. And I never traveled illegally to the country. I had my visa and passport. Biamon cut Indy off. In 1932, you disrespected the royal government and treated an ancient historical site with such temperament and disrespect to it and the locals, the Sultan of Madagascar threatened to cut your literal head off. And he sighed before replying. It wasn't my head he said about, Biamon scoffed. Then I assume it was going to be your hands getting sliced off. And he told a Dutch archaeologist. It wasn't my hands either. Okay, I don't feel comfortable. You know what? Just let it go, alright? Deanna told the Dutchman. I was hired by the military intelligence corps to go to Mexico to stop you from stealing the golden crown of the Omega. I didn't travel several tens of thousands of miles here just to waste my time. I could be teaching back in Marshall in Bedford University, but no, I have to deal with you. Biamon chuckled, remarking, Well, at least for this expedition, you got the proper funds and payment to at least try to stop me this time. But tomorrow, we'll be seeing whether those funds against me were worth it. Chapter 10 Showdown in Cancun, October 15th, 1936. Cancun, Mexico, early afternoon. The outdoor marketplace in Cancun is a bustling, vibrant hub with a mix of permanent buildings and open-air stalls filled with colorful, handcrafted goods and essential food items. Buildings were often historic and made of adobe, creating an old-world atmosphere, while vendors sold a wide array of products, including textiles, pottery, food, staples, livestock, and handmade crafts, often serenaded by local musicians. There was also still prominent flags of Canada, the US, Mexico, and various Latin American countries. Indy told Nima, Alright, Nima, we're in the marketplace. We just booked out of our stay from the hotel, and we'll be heading south. Don't purchase anything you see. We're just trying to find a way to travel to the countryside. And please, try not to make any eye contact with anyone suspicious. Nima said to Indy, But aren't the Mayan city-states like Palenque and Tikal 10 hours from here? Indy replied, We're still thinking of a way to head south. Oh, sorry about that. As I said, my brother's Discord. Also, ignore the fact that the notifications are in Portuguese. Please ignore that. Just as Indy finished, he noticed a handful of suspicious individuals approaching him and Nima. They all wore slim-cut, dark pinstripe suits, high-waisted trousers that contrasted tie. Indy prepared to pull out one of his TT-30 pistols, yet he still didn't immediately pull out the gun. Indiana simply thought it was just a group of ordinary pedestrians. Just as he began to close his holster, one of the men quickly grabbed an M1908 semi-automatic revolver, so Indy immediately pulled out his pistol and fired a shot at the man's head, killing the grunt immediately. Just as the grunt dropped on the ground dead, Jones told Nima, "Mexican mobsters and gangsters, get down! Get out of Nima, get out of here! Get out of the city. I'll meet up with you in the countryside, right outside the city outskirts. There's no time. Leave now." The other two gangsters pulled out an M1903 and C98 Mauser pistol. It both initially fired bullets. It both it both initially fired pistols. Either missed Indy or he completely dodged him. Indy simply fired a bullet in the knee of one of the mobsters before shooting another round at the forehead, killing him instantly. Before the other gangster could react, Indy shot the man's C98 pistol, causing it to explode, sending sharp land debris lodging into the gangster's forehead. After this quick sequence of events, Nima simply stood there, paralyzed with fear and uncertainty. Then a group of hired Japanese ninjas wearing all black and carrying katanas, shurikens, and semi-automatic rifles and handguns jumped from the Mediterranean roofing of the marketplace, landing with an elite precision. Indy told Nima, "What the hell are you waiting for, Nima? Please, get out of here. Get out of Cancun right now. There's no time to argue about anything. Leave here now. Please." Nima jerked in a slight flinching motion before immediately dashing off as fast as she could. Indy shot one of the ninjas 3 times dead in the chest, and he slammed another ninja to death repeatedly with the whip. Holy crap. Nima, meanwhile, dashed off as fast as she could. She didn't want to stop for anything that came in her way. Then another one of the Mexican mobsters stopped in her tracks. The man gave a maniacal, psychotic, cold-hearted laugh, pulling out a butterfly knife. Nima, not knowing what to do, pulled a frying pan in the marketplace. Nima ran off into an alleyway with the mobster running after her. Yet Nima managed to ambush the mobster, knocking him out with a frying pan. Nima dropped the frying pan as she navigated her way through the alleyway, back into the main street. Nima said to herself, "My goodness, what a close encounter. Really have to get out of the city, though." Yet Nima, bef- Yet before Nima could think of a contingency plan, she heard a man in his 40s yelling in an almost mixed French-German accent, "Where is she? Where is that narcissistic, ego-hungry, tomboyish bastard?" Nima jerked slightly in shock and panic. She heard Russian deliberate footsteps coming closer to her, when Nima noticed a small group of large, empty reed baskets. Nima then jumped into one of these baskets, closing the lid just in time. As Biyama was rushing by, he was accompanied by a few other Japanese ninja assassins. Biyama commented, "Nima, you're dead once I find your tomboyish ass." "Where the hell is she? Where is Nima?" Nima's heart immediately sank in immediate fear and panic. Yet she remained silent. Eventually, Nima heard the Russian deliberate footsteps fade, and as well as the irritated screaming in Dutch, slowly fading out of hearing. Yet then, a parrot flew on top of the reed basket, and the parrot repeatedly squawked and hopped up and down repeatedly, almost trying to steer off the basket's lid. Nima grunted quietly, "Hey, hey, damn it, get off, you stupid parrot. Get off, please." Yet then Nima heard Biamont yell in the distance, "Hey, looks like your parent found something. Let's check out what he found." Chapter 11. Jones. They're making quick work, ninjas and gangsters. Indy dashed by as fast as he could around the marketplace. It then in a clearing in the street, Indy stopped dead in his tracks. Standing several feet in front of him was another ninja assassin, dressed in all black. The ninja grinned maniacally and assertively at Jones. The ninja pulled out a katana and started an elegant sword dance, throwing the katana from his left hand to the right hand with elite precision. The assassin then swiftly moved the sword and turned his body with an elite, professional, and deliberate motion with meaning. Indy had a look of confusion and slight irritability and disbelief on his face. He simply pulled out his second TT dirty pistol and loaded the gun before aiming it at the ninja. The ninja still performed the sword dance motions, and the man didn't even realize until the moment came. Indiana aimed the gun. Jones then fired bullet after bullet round at the man. Indy loaded every single round at the magazine's 15 bullet capacity at the ninja. The ninja grunted, screaming and hollered in extreme constant pain before dropping dead on the ground. A fresh puddle of blood slowly surrounded the fallen assassin as the man lay silent and dead. Jones, simply shook his head in disappointment and slight irritability, and he said to himself in slight anger, I really don't have the time to play this damn game, kid. Besides, where are you, Nima? As a slight amount of smoke steamed from the handgun, Indy blew the steam from the rapid fire in, and the historian unloaded the used magazine, letting it drop dead on the ground, and he loaded and cocked another magazine. Before Jones could react, he heard a familiar voice cry, Indy! Indiana Jones! I need some help here! Please! Jones turned his head, and he saw another pair of Japanese ninjas carrying that very reed basket. Jones could see bits of Nima's clothing and hands as she yelled and grunted in fury and disbelief. Nima kept yelling, Hey! Let go of me! I'm a Mexican-born citizen. I have legal... Oh, sorry about that. Don't know who that is. Okay, back on topic. Nima kept yelling, Let go of me. I'm a Mexican-born citizen. I have legal Mexican citizen. I have damn American and Peruvian citizenship. Let go of me, please. I really don't deserve this. I want to call my lawyer. Jones yelled at himself. Nima! He dashed forward, trying to follow after the bandits. Yet Jones got lost in the crowd, and in the midst of the marketplace in Cancun, Jones saw several reed baskets scattered around being carried by regular shop buyers. Jones didn't know what to think, so he shoved person after person over. The reed baskets would slam to the ground, revealing fruits and vegetables, Mexican breads, or some form of local goods sold in the marketplace. Jones started to get more desperate. Yet then, he saw two Mexican mobsters grabbing Nima, pushing her and trying to carry her somewhere. Jones pulled out the same second TT dirty pistol that he had just loaded. Jones screamed, Oh, you're not going anywhere with her. Drop her now. I got a gun which I just used on one of your friends. And if you don't, and you're next if you don't do what I say. Yet then, in the clearing between the small carpenter business and a cafe, Jones immediately stopped running, and he actually flinched. The archaeologist, in fact, stumbled back slightly. Countless bullet rounds from a Thompson submachine gun were fired across the floor and parts of the walls of both businesses. As the kicked up dirt, soot, gravel, and dust faded, Biama emerged from the clearing next to a Japanese soldier holding this Thompson submachine gun. Biama chuckled in a cold-hearted, sociopathic manner. Biama assertively told Indiana, Dr. Jones, we have the girl. If you want, can defect from the American government and help us find the golden crown of the Omega. Indy spat back. Oh, shit. Sorry. Don't know what any of that was. No clue what any of that conservative, woke, liberal, whatever the fuck you could call that is. Sorry. Well, I would rather die than one of your mercenaries or those damn Japanese soldiers themselves, rather than to try to help you seek a weapon of mass destruction. Biamont replied, You're lucky I'm not even trying to kill you. These assassins and the help of the Imperial Japanese Army, I could kill you in an instant, but I preferably won't. So you could try to stop me, but I'll see it when you actually try. Indiana saw a pair of Japanese soldiers shove Nima in the back seat of an Imperial Japanese armored car before getting inside the car's front vehicle, and nearby was a Japanese military truck and an army vehicle. Belmont taunted Indy. I'll see you soon, and if you want to see the girl again, Try try to seek the artifact yourself. Then try to seek the artifact yourself. Byaman chuckled psychotically before getting inside the military jeep, with a Japanese soldier already waiting. Indy reached for the gun again and charged forward. Yet the soldier with the Thompson gun fired several remaining shots in the air as warning, as several remaining bullet rounds in the air as warning shots. The Japanese soldier quickly removed the used magazine before loading and cocking the new magazine. Then got in the car's back seat. And Biamont replied, "Go, let's move. We need to leave Cancun before the sun sets." Then the car began to drive off, eventually leaving Indy alone and despondent. He stomped his foot into the ground once and grunted, "Damn it, Biamont! First the urn, now the golden crown. I'm not letting you get away with this." Chapter 12. Hopil Chen. Later that day. Hopil Chen. Still October 15th, 1936. Early afternoon. Hopil Chen was a small city in the Mexican countryside in the state of Campeche. The city would have been a 5-hour drive from Cancun and another 6-hour drive south to where the site of the Golden Crown might be. Indy had stopped briefly in Hopil Chen for the rest of the day and half of tomorrow before moving southwards. While in the city, Indy was meeting up with a local Catholic Christian priest on the Medallion. Town's church exhibited a blend of Gothic, Italian Renaissance, and Baroque era architectural styles. The church appeared as an immense fortified structure with fixed stone or adobe walls and simple battlement-like walls. Church had a spiral tower with a church bell and was highly decorated with a central church dome. The interior features a single long nave with a raised sanctuary at the far east end. The floor plan is often in the shape of a cross cruciform in contrast to the often simpler exteriors. The interiors are usually a visual delight of ornamentation, particularly in the Baroque style. The priest was named Antonio Pizarro. He was a balding man in his late 40s and wore a black cleric shirt with a light collar, black pants, and a suit, and a round-collared cassock, as well as a black suit jacket. Indiana spoke. "Hello, Father. My name is Indiana Jones. I'm an American archaeologist from the state of New York. And I was hired by the Army Intelligence Corps to search for a pre-contact Mayan artifact called the Golden Crown of the Omega." Indiana showed the medallion, and he spoke. "I don't have much time, but a rival archaeologist of mine named Otto Biamont is helping the Imperial Japanese government look for the Golden Crown of the Omega in the Mayan city-state of Palenque, further south. Biamont believes this medallion I have could lead him to the crown. Are you able to help me decipher the coding of the medallion?" Pizarro paused before answering. "I believe I'm able to read the Mayan script, and yes, I am able to help you decipher the medallion's meaning." Indiana grinned in relief and thankfulness. He stated, "Aw, thanks, Father Pizarro." Indiana then spoke. Now, the Mayan script or the Mayan glyphs were the ancient native writing. Oh shit! Sorry about that. Writing system used by the Mayan civilization of Mesoamerica. It is also currently the only Mesoamerican writing system that has ever been properly deciphered. The Mayan script has actually continued to be used after the classical era collapsed to the 16th and 17th centuries till Spanish colonization in Latin America became more centralized. Now, Mayan script isn't similar to Romance languages from the Old World, which used the Latin alphabet. Maya writing uses logograms, complemented with a set of syllabic glyphs, somewhat similar in function to modern Japanese writing. Indy asked, "But how are you as this Damn it. How are you able to decipher the mind script as a Catholic Christian clergyman? I find that really impressive. I'm not trying to I'm not trying to sound rude though. Pizarro responded, "You're fine." Now I have a copy of Diego de Landa's alphabet, which was a 16th century list of Spanish letters and their designated Mayan hieroglyphic equivalents used by the Spanish bishop. And consider that English, although being a West Germanic language, shares influence in French and Latin languages in general due to their Indo-European lingual roots. I'm able to decipher Mayan hieroglyphics into Spanish, which I can accurately translate into English. After a few minutes of silence, Pizarro's eyes, within a few minutes, slowly yet noticeably transformed. From a plain, expressionless, and studious face to a face of confusion and slight fear, to a phase of mixed fear and disbelief. Indy then noticed the priest's eyes light up in genuine horror, disbelief, and certainty. Pizarro put the medallion down, and he said calmly in a genuine manner, "This medallion, one side bears a warning against disturbing the golden crown of the Omega, and the other side bears a warning against disturbing the golden crown of the Omega, and the other side bears the compliment measure." Oh, sorry, yeah, Discord from my Discord, private Discord server from my brother. Sorry, just ignore that, guys. Okay. The one side bears a warning against this. Oh yeah, and the other side bears the complement measures and sacrificial rituals and ceremonies for the supposed staff of Ixchel, ex, under Exchel. Joan's eyes lit up in slight panic, but mostly curiosity and intrigue. Indiana questioned, Exchel? Pizarro nodded in correction, and Indiana stated, "That's the Mayan goddess of plant fertility. Plant fertility, midwifery, water, and medicine. She is part of the Mayan pantheon of gods and goddesses. She is a high-ranking upper god, and the wife of Itzamna. As for Itzamna, he is a high-ranking upper god and a chief god of the Mayan pantheon. Itzamna is also the creator deity and the ruler of the heavens in ancient Mayan religion, as well as the god of writing, medicine, agriculture, weaving, science, and the Mayan calendar. Indiana thanked Pizarro. "Thank you, Father Pizarro, for helping me out. I have to get, I have to get, I might have to get going soon, as I have to combat Biamont and secure the staff of Exchel." Chapter 13. Base Camp. Later that day, still October 15th, 1936, late evening. The Imperial Japanese camp near Palenque had defensive, semi-fortified, small yet wide battlements like walls, gates, and other fortifications, as well as research tents, communal lodges and houses, recreational facilities, as well as makeshift buildings. There were also administration buildings, a few communication towers, makeshift tents, dining halls, and commissionaries, storage warehouses, and sanitary facilities. There were also a few workshops and communal shops, mechanical shop, and a semi-makeshift gas station. There were also field labs and proper military medical facilities. There were also barracks, training halls, training centers, vehicle maintenance garage, ammunition storage, and hospitals, as well as intelligence facilities and correctional buildings. There were also ammunition, weaponry, and military equipment storage facilities, as well as mortars, self-propelled artillery guns, medium to heavy tanks, oh crap, sorry, amphibious vehicles, tankets, army jeeps, armored trucks, and Humvees, and engineering and medical vehicles. Beaumont then told Nima in a somewhat serious yet calm manner. Alright. Miss Moctezuma, you must have had a really rough day. Even though some of my men forcibly took you, Beaumont asked. Okay, do you still have your personal belongings you brought while in the marketplace? You booked out of that hotel room earlier today? Nima chuckled in a slightly irritated tone, before replying in a slightly assertive tone, "I still have my items and clothing. Yet those ninjas and mobsters you hired threw my belongings violently in the back of that damn jeep. Biamont replied, I know you had a really long day, especially since we drove you 10 hours from Cancun to the Mexican wilderness. But you should get some rest for the rest of the day. Biamont then told Nima in a slightly disgusted and irritated tone. Besides, you should change into a new set of clothing. I absolutely hate sassy, that sassy, that sassy, rebellious, tomboyish tone and personality of yours. Nima spat back. Well, I hate your jerkish, conservative, and arrogant mindset when it comes to making quick cash. You good for nothing Frenchie? Biamon answered calmly. I'm Dutch, not French. And please, there's no need to get angry and shout at anyone. As I stated before, please get some rest for the rest of the day. Nima reluctantly agreed. Fine, if you say so. Just as Nima turned around, she saw the Baron standing in front of her. Kobayashi was standing next to four present armed Imperial Japanese soldiers guarding him. Nima became shocked. She looked around and she grabbed a nearby butterfly knife on the table in the research tent. Nima threatened, Hey, don't you dare touch me. I am armed in my hands. Kobayashi grabbed Nima's left arm, snatching the butterfly knife with ease and carefulness before putting it down. Kobayashi chuckled in a calm, psychotic manner. He then coldly told Nima in a slurry, sociopathic, and calmly tone. Miss Moctezuma, you really did go to Mexico with Dr. Jones, did you? Nima grunted. What do you want from me and Jones? Leave the both of us alone, will you? You sick bastard, Kobayashi replied. Calm down, Miss Moctezuma. I'm an army colonel in the Imperial Japanese Armed Forces and a lord in the Japanese Parliament. I am in charge of this archaeological expedition to find the Golden Crown of the Omega. Mr. Biamont is simply here not just for the payment, but to help guide and assist us. Kobayashi pulled out a thin metallic baton-like object from his jacket in an aggressive, deliberate manner. Both Nima and Biamont gasped in slight fear, uncertainty, and concern. Yet Kobayashi simply formed a coat hook from the object while she hung his coat from. Kobayashi gave the coat to one of the soldiers. Kobayashi then sat down in one of the research chairs in front of the two expedition members. Both Nima and Otto sighed in relief. Kobayashi gave a quiet, maniacal, and sociopathic chuckle. The Japanese man grins before stating, Now, where shall we begin with the expedition? Alright, I'm going to end the video here.